Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back and welcome to part 3 of Getting Out of the Rut. Today's discussion is about picks and capos. So whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player, makes absolutely no difference whatsoever, and it doesn't matter if you know 1,000 chords or 10,000 chords, even the capo is going to come in handy for you. However, let's start with picks. Now, picks are, yes, they are a personal preference. To a certain degree they are, but every beginner should start out with the thinnest pick possible, okay? And for me, that would be the 0.38 millimeter pick. Why? Because it is super, super flexible. It's very forgiving, okay? And it's not going to cause you to break strings, which a thicker pick will, especially as beginners. Been there, done that. I wish I'd known about these picks when I first started playing guitar because I could have shaved a few years off real quick and just really gotten into her. My teacher started me out with a 0.71 millimeter pick, which is like insanely thick. Though it was good for, power smacking for blues stuff, it really struggled me on the whole strumming thing, because I would just be all over a big disaster, okay? And so it made me have to fight harder, work harder to learn to use that pick in a much smoother fashion. Okay, and you can do that down the road. But in the beginning stages, definitely the thinnest pick you can get is your best solution. So with a thin pick, it does alter the sound of your guitar too. So keep that in mind. It's going to drop your volume, but it is going to also alter your entire spectrum of the sound of your guitar with bass, mids, and trebles. Okay, so this is the super thin pick. So then we go up into the 0.46 millimeter, which would be our next stage up, much thicker pick. Okay, so you get more picking authority, especially even for your blues stuff. Okay, so moving up in thicknesses is fantastic as you can do it. So have the two in your arsenal. Start with the 0.38 mil, work your way up. Okay, then you can work your way up to like a 0.50 and so on until you're at a pick range where you're very happy and comfortable with it and that you can do the types of music that you want to be able to do at your comfort level. Now, for me, I play a variety of genres of music. I play soft rock, hard rock, I play a little bit of metal, okay? And for me, though, I can use the 0.46 mil for all of it, okay? You have to learn, too, about pick depth, okay? According to the books, 1/4 of an inch or less is best, okay? And this is going to give you the most control. It's also going to help you to get right in at the strings. It's going to help your hand sit proper, especially when you're hand dampening. So if you're way out here, holding the pick way out, it's a lot more sloppy, okay? And if you're trying to play blues with a sticking out pick out to the end there, it's going to cause you to run into other strings that you don't want to, so you need it in tighter. So short pick, very key. All right, well, let's go to the capo. Why a capo? Well, a lot of people are snobs about capos. I've run into a few of them on Facebook. Told them where to go and how to get there. Not such a very nice, polite way either, because they were very rude themselves. So rude deserves rude back. So, and I tell it how it is. I spare nobody's feelings. Okay? So anyway, if you have a song in the key of G, for example, okay, I'm not going to give you every key out there, but I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. So in a key of G, we have the following chords in this particular song. For key of G, we have G, D, E minor, and we have a C in here someplace, I believe. G, D, yeah, G, D, C, and E minor. Okay, so I'm not going to play the exact song, but I'm going to give you an idea here. So in the key of G, this is what it sounds like. Now, that song is actually played much slower, so now, if you can sing in the key of G, because the song is in the key of G, and you can sing to that vocal range, fantastic. Great job. So you don't need a capo. Yay! Thumbs up. All right, but if you can't, you're going to need a capo. Why? Well, personally, guys, I've tried alternate configurations of the same chords as power chords, as bar chords. I've tried to play them in different places of the neck around that as well. It just is not going to work. I've tried to play it in different keys without a capo. It's not going to work. This song is that stubborn, okay? And you'll find a lot of songs that are like that. So what do? We go to the key of A flat, okay? Now, here's the funny thing. I've tried A flat with the chords appropriate to A flat, right? Which would be a bar chord or a power chord, but it doesn't sound right. Okay, I've listened to the artist do it, and using those chords don't work. So I need to do the same chords, but in a basic formation of what's in front of my face of G, D, E minor as far as the formations go, but I need to raise the pitch to the A flat key, but having it done differently so that it works more. So let's do this again. Wow, that's a huge difference, right? Let's go to the key of A. That's fantastic, right? Now, how do we know about the keys? Well, this is where the dual fretboard comes in. Your fretboard is actually 2 fretboards. All right, so you have your normal layout. So you have your majors and your sharps. You also have flats. Okay, so if you go to a G chord, okay, now this is a G power chord. That's your G. If you move up one, that's a G sharp. If you move up again, that's A. Moving back one, though, on the dual side, that's G sharp is actually A flat, because one behind the A is flat. Okay, so it's a half step behind, so it becomes a flat. So that's A flat. G sharp and A flat are the same thing. So if we played the song in A flat using this method, it's just not going to work. It's power chorded. We're playing rock here. This is not a rock song, and it just doesn't sound right. Even if we use bar chord versions of the same thing, it's not going to sound right. We need that sound in order to be able to hear those lyrics within the music and be able to sing along with it. So that's where the capo comes in. Now we're in A flat because you're moving up one. Okay, so this is your A flat position, or G sharp. Okay, now if you have a song that's in the key of F, you have 2 options. Play it down here, okay, or you can go to the 5th fret with the capo, and you play a C formation, which is an F. It's a different pitch completely. Same exact chord. It's still an F. It's just done in a different formation. This also saves you a lot of confusion too, because even though something is in the key of F, okay, and you played the F without the capo, you have the alternate chords in there that you may not know or may not know how to execute properly. But with the capo, you're already used to being down here anyway, right? So why not just throw the capo on, except now you can read the song is key of F, 5C. So 5C means that on the 5th fret you do a C formation to get the F chord. And then of course your D formation is actually a G. Okay? Now if you needed an actual D chord and you're up here, then you have to do an A formation for the D, and you only play the 4 bottom strings. You can't play the next one because there is none. This is your D. Because the string above is an A, so you don't want to be strumming that. If you need an actual C chord, so 1, 2, 3, C. Anybody like ukuleles or gitaleles? That's a C chord. That's a way to do a C with one finger when you're on the 5th fret. I have a video, by the way, that talks about the commonalities between guitar, ukulele, and gitalele, and we get into the whole 5th fret, where when you're on the 5th fret of your guitar, you have a gitalele, okay? Anyways, so if you need to do your major chords as they are major chords, the A formation is going to be now a D, and then your C is going to be just one string and so on. So you're playing uke chords basically. So anyways, the capo is very handy for changing the key signature. But every time you move that position, you're changing the key, but you're also changing the chord itself. So if you went back into the 4th fret, for example, and you did that C formation, again, so you're one behind the F. So if you count A, B, C, D, E. So now one behind, this is now an E. Because there is no sharps on E. E and B have no sharps. So now your C formation is an E. So now you're an E. Go back up 1. We're back to F. Right? Do this again. So, you don't have to reprint the music because it says capo position, it has your basic chords in front of you, so you're doing the basic chord formation. You are not playing the actual G, C, and D when you're using the capo. You're just using the formations, and the formations that will make sense with the song, because the other stuff, without the capo, unless you know the other chords without, you've got a problem, right? And if you try alternate chords that you do know, like the power or bar chords, they're not going to work out for that song. So what do? You throw on a capo. So some things just can't be changed, but other things can. But you can change a song into any key you want, but just keep in mind that when you print out that key, you need to know what those chords are. Okay, so in the case of the G sharp, in the key of A flat, G sharp is going to be A flat. So you know where G is, you know where the G sharp is, and you're not power chording this song. It's not going to work. Okay? And bar chording it. It's not going to work either. The pitch is so far off. It's crazy, right? So you can't change your key that way, right? To play the alternate chords. Even if you do know them, it's not going to work that way for you. So you do need to use a capo. You need to learn about the capo and how it works. The nice thing about using a capo, though, is as long as it's written on the paper what capo position is being used, You don't have to know the actual chord name that you're playing. Unless you already know it, that's fine, but you don't have to know it. There's some songs actually done by, I'm trying to think of his name now. If you saw the movie Camp Rock, okay, Demi Lovato's boyfriend, okay, there's a song anyways, and I can't remember his name in real life. I don't really remember. But anyways, he did a song in the show that had a capo on there, okay? So I printed out that version for one of my students, and so we've got the capo position. Now, I've tried that song without the capo and using the alternate chords for the same key. Even that song did not work out right. It's the sound, it's the tone, it's how it's played, everything, okay? Some things you can't change. You cannot remove the capo from, okay? Where other things you can remove the capo from, it's not a big deal. So the other thing too with a capo, if you do get a song that you can do the same key, and you have the chords like the F here for the 5C thing, and you do those actual chords, you as the offset player, I would advise you to do the song without the capo and let your lead player use the capo, or go vice versa. One of you has to be lead and one of you has to be the offset, okay? You don't want to have two guitar players using the capo on the same fret unless you know how to do an offset pattern and tone with those same chords. So what I'm talking about is something like this, okay? Let's go to the 5C thing, okay? We have a song here, and it's 5C. Just strumming the C. Now this is what, one of you is going to be doing as the lead on this song. Okay? So the other person would have to do something back in here. Because you got to break over the mix so that you don't sound the same. You could do the same strumming pattern, or as close as you're going to get to each other, okay? But your timing is very impeccable. You must have the same timing, regardless of the funky stuff you do. But you have to be back here. So that there's a separation, because if you both play in the same area of the sound hole, it kind of doesn't really give a stereo effect. It does sound horrible. I've been in this position a few times until I kind of figured out, what, I got to do something different here because this is not working. It's too much the same. I can hear it and it's driving me nuts, right? So I started to do this with a bunch of the songs. Now, even though that person, the lead guitarist, wasn't, doing this thing with the finger thing, I was doing that sort of thing, but closer to the bridge to raise the tones higher. And that made the song sound so much better and sweeter. Okay, and then it allowed me to still use the capo, still doing the same stuff in front of me. I didn't have to worry about, taking the capo off, because if I took the capo off and I did that, I could do it. But then I wouldn't get the same results. So the results I was after required the capo. If you can get the results you're after without the capo, by all means, especially if you know the chords in that key signature, that's fantastic. But a capo is nothing to turn your nose up at. This thing is very good, very useful. Even for some of the stuff I've written myself, I've had to use the capo because of the way I wrote the song, the way the song is sung, the way it's actually played. I couldn't find any other key that it would work with, or chord substitutes of the same stuff that would actually work for that song. So the capo had to be in play, okay? So it's a tool that is useful, and it helps with your playing abilities as well. The other thing, I have a video where we talk about being on the 5th fret. It lowers your strings quite a bit, and so you can still be up here easier to do your chord formations for even your basic patterns, even though you're not actually playing a G and a C and an F and whatever. It's going to help you, because things are actually different when you get down here. Because you have a lot more distance to push down here than you do when you've clamped everything down. It lowers everything quite substantially. Even though you have a low action already, it makes no difference. On an acoustic guitar, lowering things more to be able to help you is a good thing at first. So you can at least get that control here and then move it back here where it belongs. And just have a light touch too. Light touch, get the chords out so that they sing properly. And light also equals speed, so you can play and switch faster if you have a lighter touch as well. Anyways, that covers the capo pretty much. If you have questions, whatever, you know where they go, comments below. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this part of the series, and I'll have to sit down and think about what I want to do next on this getting out of the rut thing. But in the meantime, thanks so much, and stay tuned for more videos. See ya.